Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, guys. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. I got a great guest. Whenever you hear the Joe Reichle show, people are always writing in, and it's a very popular show here on the network. And I have something to share with you people. Right in the beginning of the show, I was very touched because you guys, if you've heard the show before, if this isn't your first time here in the Joe Reichle show, uh, Joe Reichle's mom is a friend of mine. Okay, we go way back. We're cut from the same loins. Okay, and I happened to get a photo of of my buddy. And so you said this is my buddy. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I thought you would appreciate that because we're always talking about Joe Reichle's mom. And you guys know Joe Reichle. She is the founder of Tao of the Turtle, which she began her own journey of healing, self-discovery, awareness 20 plus years ago. And now she is helping so many different people, whether it be one-on-one in courses on, virtual. She can help anybody now. So, guys, you can call in 631-730-7376 or get me on Instant Feedback, KC Instant Feedback, and you can ask Joe a question. And if Mr. Producer thinks it's appropriate, he will read it to Joe live on the air, so you get your answer from the professional and an expert and your person you are a fan of. So, guys, with no further ado, it is my friend, the one and only, the Joe Reichle Show with Joe Reichle. Hey, Joe, what's going on?
Hey, Casey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Me and my buddy Miss Reichle, we're doing well. We had a segment earlier. I don't know if you were around, but
That's
what's up with
awesome.
you, Joe? Come on, what's up?
Well, a lot actually, and I'm so glad I forewarned my mom that I sent you a picture of her.
Yeah, I was happy. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no, I actually you kind of sparked, as always, a lot this week, and just our conversations. And I one of the things, I don't know if you recognize this because I'm going to embarrass you now, but
oh, thank you. That's
yeah,
that's
so Simply Amazing Women by Casey Armstrong. And I figured if I'm talking to someone, kind of want to know who I'm talking with.
that's so
And
nice. You thank you.
yeah, no, and it's really great. And the funny thing is, I was reading it, and I was up till I think 12:30 when I first started reading it because it's amazing.
Oh, wow.
And I missed the dedication. And when I was thinking about last time we talked, we said we were going to, or I said, I would give you a part of what I do in a session, mostly the lead in and the prayer that I do, that sort of thing. But then I was like, if we go into a meditation, what is it that, I'm hoping for? And I picked up your book again and realized there was a dedication. And if I may, and I read this to my mom, and my mom doesn't get choked up much, but she did on this one. But if I may, read the last paragraph.
Oh, you're so kind.
And they're my readers, so we're both going blind. You write, if you know anything about me, you know the most important person in my life is my best friend, my inspiration, and my idol. And I call her Mom. If my life ends today, nothing compares to the times, lessons, and memories that I have with the luckiest part of my life. I believe in people and in anything for that matter, only because of one amazing lady. You are smart, strong, thoughtful, and always know what to do. These memories recreate me more to me than anything in the world. And if there's anything good about me, it is because of you. And I didn't get choked up this time because I was reading from my mind, not my heart. But when I first read that, it hit home because it's the same that I feel about my mom. And I used to, it's a natural thing for me to bring up what my mom and I talk about, because she's one of the people in my inner circle that I go to. So this leads me to the meditation of what I had hoped. Not all of us have a mother like you and I are lucky enough to have, separate mothers, because, but we're not. However, there are people in our life that are that person, that inspiration for us. And one of the things with the meditation that if we go into it, that I was hoping is to call in for people who that might be. Last week, I talked about terms and what my terms were. And that led me to aligning with who I am and understanding who I am and what's important to me. And with that came, and it's an inner circle, and there's no judgment of someone being more prepared, better, worse, nothing like that. It's just, as Brene Brown says, they're the people who earn the right to hear your story. They're also the people who are in the same place to hold space for you. So they're not going to get, I think it was Brene explained it, or I've seen it many times, where you see someone in a hole and they're in that whole depression or whatever they're feeling. And you don't want to yell down, like I said, and be a cheerleader, like, come on, you can get out of the hole. You don't want to go down and join them in that space. You do, however, want to be able to sit with them and hold space for them. And like we told Tony last week from Colorado, you want them to know that you're there.
Yeah.
So these people that you find that are in your inner circle, those are the people that you can tell your story to. And unless you ask, they don't, offer any feedback. It's your sounding board. I think I told my mom this. When I tell my mom something about my life, if I'm changing the story even a little bit, I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't right. This isn't aligned with me. Because if I'm not telling my mom the whole truth, and maybe someday I'll tell you what some of those truths were. But literally, if I can't tell my mom the truth, then I need to revisit what it is that isn't sitting well. And I may go into it thinking, yeah, I own this. Like, I'm good with this. And then when I tell that person, mom is one, I have a friend, Rose is another. And if I start changing my story, I stop. And I'm like, you know what? I need to go back and figure out.
You're not ready, you're saying.
Exactly. Yep. And it's not lining with my truth. My conscious mind, my subconscious, the gut.
That's very self-aware.
Aware.
Self-aware. Thank you. Yeah. We got something going on here. Come on. Yeah. No, it really is. I mean, to say that about yourself, a lot of people would just go through the motions, not really care. But when you've done the work like you have, you get it.
And you're not afraid. That's the key. Is you're not afraid to be curious about yourself, your actions, and you're not afraid to be curious about other people and their actions. And to me, that's where compassion came in for me. It's like something can happen and I don't see it just from my viewpoint. I mean, it's not an immediate thing because I'm human.
Right. However, of course.
Yeah, but that's one of the things. I always go back to that first question we had on one of the first shows was, is this happiness? And that's what brings me happiness, because it's the contentness that not only am I doing the best I have with what I can, I'm always aware enough, and I don't know the word I'm looking for, but I'm always aware enough to improve upon what I've learned already and know that I'm going to continue learning about myself and my life. So yeah.
Cool. First of all, thank you very much for the kind words that you said by reading my book. And for some reason, Mr. Producer was flaring his arms up and down. He wanted to say something. So, Mr. Producer, what? I'm sorry I didn't get to you right away, but come on, she was reading about my mom.
We have a ton of instant feedback already, so I'll try to read them off quickly. But the first instant feedback I kind of wanted to share, because I have the same sentiments, We have Arthur from New York. He goes, I shed a tear listening to that quote from Casey. Casey, you have the most tender heart. Your mother is a lucky. Sorry, your mother is lucky to have a son that cares as much as you do about her.
Well,
Thought that was
thank you
really
to
Truth.
Arthur
sweet.
and this young lady that I'm speaking to right now. We're cut from the same loins, and we have a lot in common, and that should go to her as well, because I know how much she cares about her mom too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We
Thank
have
you, buddy. Whoever wrote the Arthur, thank you very
Arthur,
much.
thank you.
we have another question. We have Ernie from Washington. And it's kind of on topic from what you guys wanted to talk about. So he goes, what is the unconscious mind and how does it affect us?
Oh, thank you. And actually going off topic is one of my things I do. I like spot a squirrel and I'm off in another direction. Yeah.
I got you.
Ernie, yeah. So thank you for that question, Ernie. So for me, and I'm going to quote my mom, since we were young, my mom always told us that our gut instinct is what our unconscious mind is picking up the truth of us. And it's what our conscious mind is not acknowledging or admitting to or is seeing. So it's really kind of, it's like the outer world and the inner world. And if you're aligned with yourself in the inner world, that's how our guides and, whatever religion you are, that's what your source is guiding you through life, is through your unconscious or gut instinct. And that gut instinct, when you're feeling neutral, when you're not feeling really anxious or not really feeling stoked about something like hyper stoked, you're in a neutral place, you're on your path. So essentially, Ernie, it's what your conscious mind won't admit to or may not be ready to admit to. So it's no judgment on how you're thinking. It's just when you become aware of the difference, then that's when you find it's a bit easier.
Cool. Good question, man. Thank you. What else you got, my man?
We have August from Georgia. He goes, if the conscious mind is unconscious, how do you heal or repair something that does its own thing?
That's the thing. It's the unconscious mind that, hold on one second, sorry. I just want to make sure I have the words to speak this clearly. So the goal is the unconscious mind. The goal is not overthinking. I used to be a crazy overthinker, just everything.
You?
Yeah, I know. Oh, well, you're lucky you can't see my hands right now.
I deserve it.
Back to August's question. So that is where it's, when you're healing, you want to go inward. It's all the chatter outside of where you are that is distracting and detracting from your healing. It's when you sit silent and go inward, which is a really scary place to, or I shouldn't say scary. It's an uncomfortable place to be, because when you go inward, it's you're going to the truth of who you are. And so going to find your, like what we're describing as unconscious, it's not the same. I think maybe the confusion lies in when you think of unconscious, you're thinking of like out cold on the floor. And it's really, I guess the subconscious is what I should be saying.
So it's the stuff that's not I'm right now. I'm thinking about the Smurfs from the 1980s, the TV show.
Yeah.
But if that's a conscious thought, right? Because I chose to think that.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. So if you were, okay, thank you for that. Let me just hold on one second. Sorry, so you're thinking of the Smurf. So that's an outside influence. And so you're in a conversation with someone and I don't like the Smurfs. They creep me out.
Yeah.
Right. So say you love the Smurfs and I'm like, Casey, the Smurfs freak me out a little bit, which is ironic since I'm wearing blue. But if you're like, instead of saying, oh, dude, sorry, I love the Smurfs. If you're like, yeah, the Smurfs are weird. Like, then you get like in your gut, you get this uneasy feeling. You get if you pay attention to the energy of your body, it will constrict when you're not speaking your truth.
Because you're not
For
being
me,
genuine, right?
exactly. Yeah. So what that is, what the subconscious mind or the gut instinct is that indicator of like, hey, you're not speaking your truth, so that's when it constricts. When you're speaking your truth, you're open, it's like you want to, it's my truth. I want to shout it from, the mountaintops.
Right.
So that, and I apologize, I should say subconscious mind, not unconscious mind, but it's the subconscious. It's the, who you truly are. And it's your indicator. That's how energy and your physical body work together,
I like
your
that.
body.
That made it pretty clear to me. I didn't know the difference between the two. So thank you for that. That was cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now I
Thanks,
get it.
Doug. Yeah.
Mr.
Stories
Producer,
are good.
what you got, my man?
We have Natasha from New York. She goes, I heard Mercury retrograde is near. Do you know anything about it? What does it mean? And what will it bring?
Not a clue. And I know I know as much about Mercury retrograde. I'm learning more about it. I know there was a full moon last night, and
It was awesome. Yeah.
it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was also the moon of releasing. All full moons are a good way to release. And that's where I kind of stumbled across, wait, these are the affirmations that I like. It's the releasing. It's the actively clearing out clutter, energetic clutter within you. So, I wish I knew more, but it's not something I would be comfortable speaking on.
Okay, cool. Mr. Producer, we got time for one more?
Yeah, we have Olivia from Georgia. She goes, when you first connect with someone, what do you prioritize?
Oh, that's cool. It comes so naturally. I need a second to think about it. Well, actually, when we all connect, this is the root of Reiki. When we all connect, my energies or your energy, whomever's energy, they scan each other. And it's the difference between feeling comfortable with someone and getting the heebie-jeebies. And that's a technical term, by the way. So it's one of those things where when I first, and I meet a lot of people, like, just as I said, I sell beer. So I can walk into a place, and I have sold on a first meeting without convincing someone, because that person's energy, they may not understand it, but they trusted what I was saying. And they trusted me because they read my energy.
So does it kind of come to, like, if you're up here and he's here, do you kind of...
No, it's not that. I see what you're saying. That's a whole different thing.
That doesn't work that way?
Yeah, it's more like, in like sci-fi movies when, I forget which one, but like the medical like someone will be standing and then a scan goes over them and it just literally scans. That's what your energy field is doing with their energy field, and vice versa. We do it naturally.
Like the Terminator does.
I've never seen the Terminator.
Okay, but that's what it does. It scans the whole body, and okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That's what it is. And it's again, there's no judgment. It's a natural thing. We all do it. Animals do it. Dogs.
Yeah.
So same thing.
Awesome, Mr. Producer. What do you tell me to do?
We have one more. It came in, I think, a couple of seconds ago, and then we can close out. But this one, I think, superseded the other ones because I was also interested in this. Roberta from Wyoming, they asked, the moon of releasing, what does that mean? And how do you find out the purpose of each moon?
Okay, thank you. I hate to admit this, but I'm finding out a lot about the moons from TikTok.
Cool. Tell me what you know.
I have to say, like, and again, it all goes back. There are certain people that I'll listen to and I'll be like, again, my gut instinct is kicking in going, no, that doesn't resonate with me. So I'm not taking that. I mean, the internet, there's, plethora of resources. And this is just something like on a full moon is when I cleanse any tools that I use in my healing,
like crystals.
Yeah, I have crystals. and they're mostly decorative for me right now, but out of respect for the fact that I use them as much as I did before, I moved in my own journey. I clean. That's how I clean them, cleanse them, that sort of thing. And releasing there again, it's, like there was Lionsgate, which I think you mentioned, Casey, a couple shows back. And it's really an amazing thing. And I do it every full moon now. And it's one of those things where like you kind of practice it because it becomes sort of like a meditation. It's a very calming thing, and I think it's just really important. It's kind of one of those rituals until you don't need to do that ritual. But I want to meditate more than I do, like deeper than I do. Okay. So I'm doing these things that will help me along with that. So.
Okay. Hey, another awesome show. We're at the end here, but can you let the audience know what you got going on, where they should go to contact you, courses, one-on-ones, whatever you want to leave us with? Always love talking to you guys. Joe Reichle, amazing show. You got the last word, my friend.
Cheers. Thank you. You can reach me by text or call at 802-558-1627 or on Facebook at Tao the Turtle, which Tao is spelled Tao. And I did just want to touch real quick. Tony from Colorado made me think of something. If I do sliding scale payments, especially for younger people, someone like Tony who's in a situation that he is, I'm open to that. My time is worth something, and there does have to be an exchange. It's one of our rules because you don't really take in or appreciate something. And then just something we really quickly, affirmations, the I am versus I feel. I hit a lot of that this weekend. I felt overwhelming sadness. And sometimes that will come up when you're in your healing, you're releasing things. And I did a lot of crying. And the good thing that people need to know about crying, it's kind of like fire cleanses sometimes, crying is a very cleansing thing to do. And you don't always need to know why you're doing it. You don't need explanations. Sometimes it's your body's way of releasing that energy, releasing that negativity, releasing that stress, whatever it is. And the difference between like, I am feeling sad and I feel sad disassociates you from the feeling. And you can feel an immediate change in being the observer of your feelings or saying like, because this isn't who I am. I am not a sad person. I am a feeling sad. So, there's a lot.
Feeling sad and being sad are two different things, right?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm always a negative person and that's where, because there's sometimes people will go to a place that they feel most comfortable.
They're comfortable with it because they're familiar with it.
It's what they know. And that helps when you disassociate and you're the observer of it. That helps you move beyond it. And you're going to fall back sometimes. Like I felt myself saying, and yesterday I was working and I'm like, I feel so sad. And I was like, why? And then I'm like, doesn't matter why. And you are not that feeling. You just, that's what you're feeling. It's not who you are.
These things shall pass.
In time, that's hey,
awesome. Joe Reichle, one of my favorites. Thank you so much for another great one. And can't wait to hear what you have to say next, guys. Joe Reichle, everybody. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes. and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.